The wild style always been a foul child. My guns go boom boom and your guns go pow. Yeah.
What's up guys, Controlled Cast here bringing you a deck profile of my Bujin deck that I actually got first place at my locals with this past Sunday. We were playing new format, so the January 2014 format. Really the only thing that changed in this deck between the two formats is I took out the Bujin Carnation and put in a third Tanky. Other than that, the deck hasn't changed at all. Side deck changed up quite a bit because I no longer feel the need to side super heavy for dragons. But that'll all be explained later. Anyway guys, I really don't feel like rambling right now. I'm pretty tired, so without further ado, here's the deck profile. Alright guys, for the monsters, triple Yamato, standard, one Mikazuchi, one bear. Bear is so nice to open up with. I'm considering bumping it to 2, just because if you don't open a Yamato, but if you open a bear, you can just, you know, swing and have access to your Yamato there. For the Bujingi cards, triple crane, it's broken, obvious. Triple turtle. I know it kind of is useless against certain decks, but it is amazing to have 3 of against, you know, a lot of things at the same note. And even in the decks that it's against the decks that it's set against, like Prophecy or whatever, it is a 1700 attack beat stick, so that's always good. 2 Quillen. A kind of similar story to Turtle. It's very situational, but it's really nice to have in those situations. So, excuse me. It's such a power card when you get it off in the right times. 2 Maxi for just anything that really special summons at all. And 1 Honest. The Maxis are something that I side out almost every match that I'm not playing against, like dragons or anything like that. Anyway, moving on to the spells. This is for the new format, so I do play the triple Tanky. Woo! So happy this is back at 3, makes the deck so much more busted. Wish I had my LT still, but oh well. 2 Dualities. It just gives you more access to the Yamato and Tanky, and you really don't special summon, so. 3 Lance, just to protect your Yamato. 2 Typhoon, again to protect your Yamato, because if they Fiendish it the turn that you summon it and you don't have a turtle engrave, then it's just really bad. So having that Space Typhoon is always a good answer. Plus against, this has an awful matchup against Harpies, like really really bad, because you rely on a lot of really strong back row, and they have Hunting Ground, so they can just summon and pop your back row. So if you can get rid of Hunting Ground, it's golden. 2 Kaiser. It's really hard to go off for any deck if you can only summon 1 monster. 1 Book, 1 Dark Hole. Standard. And for the traps, I play 2 Regalia, the sword. It's so good. So good. I had a conversation with my buddy Joey Abel about it. He didn't like it at all, let alone at 1. And I obviously played at 2, because it's like, my opponent gets so happy when they Mirror Force my Yamato and I don't drop a Mikazuchi. And they're like, oh yes, he has no cards in hand, he's gonna lose. And then next turn, or their end phase or whatever, I'll Regalia and I'll add it back. Or you could always, if you do have a Yamato and they're making multiple attacks on you, you could always Regalia on attack declaration, add a crane back to hand, and then just punish them from there. 2 Fiendish, I think it's gonna be a really strong trap. This format stops Yamato, as long as they don't already have a turtle engrave. It stops, geez, just about everything. Fiendish is actually, you know, it's my pick for probably the best back row of this format. This coming format, I should say. 1 Compulse, it's alright. I don't want to cut it just because I can use it offensively, like if I don't have much protection but they have like a Mirror Force or something, then I can always Compulse my Yamato and bring it back. Oh, before I get to that, also on this, a couple of times I did this during the tournament Sunday, is I didn't have any access to a Yamato, I didn't have any Tankies, but I had a bear in hand, and they had a monster I couldn't get over with bear. So I would declare my attack with bear, making them think that I had, you know, something, and if they didn't have a response to the attack declaration, which is a good chance for me to try to bait out some back row, I could always Compulse their monster and then attack directly. So it was kind of a nice way to cheat my opponents out of back row, but it's not really cheating if it makes sense. Basically, I would scare them into thinking I had something I didn't. 1 Mirror Force and 1 Torrential, kind of same story here, that you need mass removal. Mass removal really hurts Bujin, so in a mirror match, if you can do this, it's very very hard to come back from. 1 Bottomless, 1 Vanities, and one warning. I still run the vanities just because plants are going to be a thing again soon. I play warning because it's going to be really strong this format. Alright, now to my extra deck, I have to explain a couple things in here. Namely, I'm running 2 Utopia, 2 Peplo Operative. I do want to run 2 Utopia in this deck, solely because I have, like, so much space. Like, I need, like, 4 or 5 cards in here. Other than that, it's all display space. But I do want to run Utopia at 2, just because it's really, actually, believe it or not, pretty strong against things like Bujin. But on the same token, I have 2 Peplo Operative. I only want to run one of those. I borrowed a black ship for the tournament. That would be a black ship, but I don't have one. So, without further ado, guys, 2 Suswano. Having 2 is a must. 2 or 3, because, like, it's not that difficult to get rid of one of them. But then, if late game you can go into a second one, but you don't have the second one, like, you're gonna get so mad at yourself, guys. In top 8, I was playing against this kid named Jesus. Well, not kid, he's like 24, but a guy named Jesus, and he's really, really good. Like, he has like YCS tops and regional tops and stuff like that, and he been playing Mermail for like 6 months now, so he's really good with the deck. And the fact that I could go into a clutch Suswano with a turtle and a crane actually entirely won me the game. I ended up 2-0ing him because of that. 1 Omega, it's kind of like if your opponent has 5 back row and you have like a set monster, let's say you have a set turtle, you flip the turtle. They don't play any back row, you're like, oh, okay. Normal summon, we'll say Quillen. Still no back row. Alright, they're waiting for the Suswano, they're waiting to Torrential. Well, I'm going to overlay into Omega and punish them for that. 1 Star Leash to get rid of really problem monsters. 1 Dweller for things like Mermail and Dragons still. 1 Diamond Ire again to get rid of problem cards. Ouroboros. 1 Cowboy for time, mostly. 1 Maestroke. This card it's really good. I didn't use it at all Sunday, but I didn't really play against any decks that this is good against, so, you know, once I play more things like Fire Fist, this is going to be huge, because, like, say they have, like, 2 Order of the Phantom Beast and a, Fire Formation Tensin, or whatever the one that adds 1,000, or 700 and then 300 is, like, this just gets rid of all that stuff. 1 Roach, because Chaos Dragons and Lightsworn are actually becoming a thing again. Gemini Pearl gets over Ophion if for some reason I have a problem getting over Ophion. 2 Utopia, I already explained this, and 2 Pavi. Like I said, one of these would definitely be a black ship. And then onto the side deck. This is a bit unorthodox of a side deck, guys, but it's the reason that I topped. Let's see, as soon as I can find it, there we go. 2 DD Crow, so clutch. I played 3 mirror matches. No, 2 mirror matches, sorry, on Sunday, and DD Crow just won me both of those matches, because it's so strong when you have something that can target their Yamato, like a Book of Moon, but they have a turtle engrave. You just DD Crow their turtle, and then you can go off from there. If they play Regalia the Sword and they target their Yamato, you can DD Crow their Yamato, and then, you know, they're kind of screwed. 2 Encore, obvious. 2 Smashing Ground. This card is so good in the mirror match. So good, because it doesn't target, it destroys, it kills Suswano, it kills Yamato. It's just broken. And it's a 1-for-1. And you're using a jank spell card out of your hand, and they're losing their boss monster. 2 Divine Wrath, sided in against just about everything. 2 DNA Surgery, self-explanatory, I guess. 2 Gozens, and then 3 Curse of Darkness. So strong. Oh my god. This card, like, bodied every deck that I activated it against. For example, Lightsworn. I played against Lightsworn, and Lightsworn is in a notorious deck for having a lot of spells and traps. But as you can see by looking at my extra deck, or my side deck, sorry, I really don't have that much stuff for it. So I was like, screw it, I'm going to side into 2 Curse of Darkness. And I was playing some random kid who, like, never goes to my locals, but he actually ended up top 8ing. And I flipped this on him turn 1. He didn't have the Space Typhoon or the Lila. And it forced him to, you know, pay 1,000 for his charge. And then he had no play, so he had to pay another 1,000 for his charge. and then he passed turn, or not charge, recharge, sorry. And then he didn't really have anything, so he set a Raikou basically and passed turn. I ended up having the Fiendish for the Raikou, by the way. So I set another Curse of Darkness and then passed, and on his draw phase, he actually drew the MST, but during his draw phase I flipped Curse of Darkness. So then he had to pay 1,000 just to get rid of one of them. And it's just so good, guys. Especially when they have effects like JD that already cost them 1,000. They really can't afford to be giving you more. So that's definitely the side deck card of the day. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Stay tuned for an outro. That was the deck profile, guys. I hope you liked it. Quick rundown of my matchups. Round 1, I played Constellar. I 2-0'd. Round 2, I played Lightsworn. I 2-0'd. Round 3, I played Bujin. 2-1'd. Round 4, I played Lightsworn again. I actually got 1-2'd by Dave McCrary, who is the sackiest sack in the entire sackdom. But I made up for it because in top 4 I beat him. Yay! Anyway, then round 5, or top 8, I guess, because we had a smaller tournament. I played against Mermails. I 2-0'd them. Round 6, I guess, which would be top 4. I 2-1'd Dave McCrary's Lightsworns again. I know this means nothing to the non-locals, but Dave McCrary's Lightsworns are like that of legend at Millennium. He only pulls them out once in a while. He usually plays Evil Swarm, but he has the entire deck all like ulti and secret and stuff like that, and it's like his build, like, alright, me and him priced it out one day, and like his deck on eBay lowest, not including shipping, is like $674. Like, that's how blingy his Lightsworn deck is. It's ridiculous. And he's actually really, really good with it. It's like his deck. So, yeah, I guess they're reunited, and they did really good because they made top 4. I say they, referring to Dave and his deck, by the way. Yeah, so I ended up going a combined 5-1. I got first place. Like I said, this was a smaller tournament than usual, but everybody that was there was good. I noticed that, like, usually there's a lot more people, but there's a lot more scrubs. This time it was a good core of some of the better players. Trying to think if there's anything I want to say about the deck. Shout out to Jacob Kemp Schneider. Let me borrow one of his tankies because I only brought 2 with me, and it actually, I knew it was his because his was Italian and mine were English, but his actually won me my top 4 match, which was awesome. So, any other shout out? Shout out to Joey April, because let me just go ahead and say that he watches like all my videos, and I really appreciate it. He likes that shit and comments on that shit sometimes, and I proved to him without a reasonable doubt, beyond a reasonable doubt, that common English tankies are better than ulti English tankies, but Italian common tankies are greater than all tankies. Anyway, guys, that's it from me. Peace out.